Hey, McDonnell here. I am on this journey of building a company from zero to $1 million in 365 days, right? In 2025, I started yesterday, January 1st, and I'm gonna go all the way to December 31st. And I'm gonna show you every single day what I'm doing to build a company to get $1 million revenue by the end of 2025. This is something that I think is very doable. I spent 20 years as a government contractor in 2 different firms that I started and ran. And in those companies, they were successful. And since 2018, I've been teaching people that government contracting is not a secret, it's just a process. When we follow a process A to Z, we have repeatable, predictable results. And now what I'm doing this year is I want to just show it again, that I'm not just telling you what to do, how to do it, but I am doing it, right? This is a big thing that I hope will really demonstrate to a lot of people that you can run a business, start and run a successful government contracting business if you just follow a process. I'm not going to do anything magical, no secrets, no hacks. I'm going to follow a process, and every day I want to bring you that process. And today I'm in day 2. I am not here to try to make my slides or anything pretty for you. I'm just trying to bring you raw, good information. So I think I'm going to start with yesterday's recap. Yesterday was day 1, so it's pretty easy for me to remember. But the first thing I talked about yesterday was just introducing why I'm doing this, the journey as I go forward. I'm only going to spend 1 hour a day, so I'm really going to keep myself time constrained on what I'm doing. And the whole point of what I'm doing in this journey is trying to motivate you. So if this is something you're interested in doing, either building a brand new government contracting business, getting into the government market, or if you've got a business that's doing 5 million and you're just stagnant, you're not really sure where you're at, just join me on the journey, because literally I'm ramping up the same way I would help you if I went in and worked with you, which I don't do anymore. That's why I do all this training. So I talked about what I sell. So day 1 was, I want you to figure out what you sell. And so I don't really care too much if you see the words on this slide, but I'm just pointing to what I did, right? Yesterday I said to myself, well, a couple of things. First off, I named the company. It's called 𝗟𝗡𝗂, right? So I went in and said, I'm just going to call the company Nancy, since my wife's name is Nancy, so it's 𝗟𝗡𝗂. It's really easy, it's fun. Usually you want a company name that's more descriptive of what you sell, because it kind of opens the door or gets you rejected faster. With 𝗟𝗡𝗂, people are like, what does he sell? But if I sit there and I sell residential roofing, then people are going to, oh, you're the roofing guy. Okay, yeah, I am, thanks. And so you want to figure out the title. You don't have to overly think it too much. One thing I did ahead of time yesterday, just to jump ahead, and you don't have to move at this pace, but because it was 𝗟𝗡𝗂, and yesterday in the video I said, man, I hope the URL's available. I took 5 minutes and I went to networksolutions.com, which is what I use. I've been using it for 20 years, but networksolutions.com, you can go to GoDaddy or any of these other places, and I checked 𝗟𝗡𝗂.com and it's available for $3,600. I'm like, no. I'm just doing this on the fly. And so instead I was able to get it 𝗟𝗡𝗂.com. It's perfect for me, but I just went and secured the domain. Since I'm gonna do all these YouTube videos calling it 𝗟𝗡𝗂, I better make sure I go get it. You don't have to rush to get your domain yet, because it's not like 1,000 people are gonna track on what you're doing. Okay, so yesterday, just a quick recap. I said, what do I sell? Communication outreach was the main thing. I determined what I sold. You can watch that video. I want you to binge watch this. And then I broke it down a little further. Let me see if I can just do that. Oh, there you go. I broke it further and I said, what I really want to sell is LinkedIn engagement. And this is something I did after the fact as well. I did the video and then I came over here and I said, let me go finish up the hour. So I recorded 20 minutes, I think, yesterday, and I spent the other 40 minutes doing the domain and this. And so I said, I want to sell LinkedIn engagement. That's what I'm going to sell for small business government contractors. So my target customer are federal agencies, and I want to help them engage with small business government contractors. That's what they want. They want to be able to reach out to industry. And then I said to myself, at a high level, what am I talking about? What does that mean? And I said, well, I want to sell them newsletters. We will provide them a newsletter writing service and get that subscription up. I have the largest government contracting newsletter on LinkedIn, and it grows faster than DoD's own newsletter. And so I can teach the agencies how to do that. Then I said I want to do live events on LinkedIn. I do this every single day, generally every single weekday or work day. At 12 o'clock on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, I'll go live and I'll teach government contracting one way or another. And I can help the government do that same thing, but with them, they're teaching about their agency. I can help them with a showcase page. Just think about your LinkedIn company page. I can help them with that and grow a massive amount of followers. So when they're putting out messages, those followers are actually getting it. And then virtual networking, this ability to bring industry together to hear what HHS is saying, for example, a Health and Human Resources Agency or Health and Human Services Agency, bring them together and reach out to thousands and thousands of government contractors around the country. And then the last thing is repurposing content. That's not a primary thing of mine at all. I want to keep it into LinkedIn. So I teach we need to be niching down and eating my own dog food. I'm like, okay, let me not do social media. When I'm doing communication outreach here, right? Let me not do social media. Let me not do too many diversified things. Let me pull it down to a niche that I can sell. Can I make $1 million off of this? And so LinkedIn, of course I can. I mean, there's people out there who sell to all of us on how to do LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn GovCon expert, if that makes sense. So this is what I did yesterday. One other thing I did in our discussion was right here. I don't know if you can see this. Right here, I did this thing saying, well, let's take a stab at who buys what I sell. And that was something else I wanted to figure out right from the get-go, not doing any research, but just an educated guess. I said, well, I think contracting officers are going to need what I sell, because I'm saying, how can you reach the sellers? Who wants to reach the sellers but the buyers? Another group that I said that I want to reach are the small business professionals. And small business professionals, basically their job is to reach industry, these small business government contractors. And so I can reach out to them as well and help. And the last one I wrote yesterday was just public affairs. Public affairs, sometimes people might not have a dedicated small business specialist, but they want their office or their agency to engage with industry. Well, who's an expert at that is public affairs. They're a tertiary group that I would reach out to, but it popped into my head. And I suggested you do the same thing, right? Figure out if you sell HR services, then the HR director, the HR department, they're probably the ones who are going to buy. And that's a good start at the beginning. What do I sell and where am I going? So then the next thing I'm going to do, and let me erase this stuff really quick. And I'm violating all sorts of Toastmaster rules about turning my back, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm a rebel. Okay, so let's come back. Nancy Co gets to stay here, so I just remind myself of that. Like I have to remind myself we've been married like 20 plus years. Okay, so I just did all that. The next thing I need to do in today's exercise is I said that I do these LinkedIn, the LinkedIn services, right? And so what I need to do next, I did 5 or 6 keywords around LinkedIn newsletters, live events, the company page, etc. But what I want to do now is expand my thinking on what I sell to the government to include what keywords would they be looking for. So this is really important. In sales in general, you just want to know what keywords would somebody search for you. If you're if you've got a customer who's searching for clogged toilet, leaky pipe, things like that, what they're looking for is a plumber. They're not looking for a bathroom remodeler. They're not looking for a construction company, and they're certainly not looking for me, an IT company or something, right? And so those keywords, if you do everything within a bathroom, let's say, then you want to make sure you're using the right keywords for what they might search for. And you start with the most common ones, right? Like, I'm not using the prettiest thing out there, but like clogged toilet or something. That's a really clear thing. If somebody's got a problem with their toilets or their bathtubs, they're going to search for that. How do you unclog a toilet, or how do you drain a bathtub that won't drain or something? Real quick sidebar, by the way, my kids were 10 and I taught them how to clean their own bathroom pipes. You know how the pipe from the sink, when you're washing your hands and everything, it gets dirty and gets hair in there or whatever. And I taught them how to take it off. And so now they, on a regular basis, clean their own traps and the pipes underneath the sink. Turns out you can find everything on YouTube. Me, cleaning pipes, etc. All right, sidebar, I get a little distracted. Okay, so my task for me today, day 2 of building this company, is I want to go further into it. So I'm going to do a little bit right now with you, just to show you how I start getting my brain going. And then I will tell you, actually I'll just tell you right now and I'll tell you later, So today's task is to build at least 30 keywords. These are keywords or key phrases. It can be either one. So I might say SharePoint, and that is a keyword, or I could say Microsoft SharePoint, that's a key phrase. Either way, right? And there's longer ways of saying it, like a clogged toilet, for example. That's kind of a key phrase. It's not just a word. So when you hear keyword, intermix it back and forth between key phrase or keyword. But what I want is at least 30 of those keywords. That's my exercise for today, because when I do additional day's activities, like tomorrow, I don't know for sure, because I'm not planning this out. I'm doing this all with you as if I was you. So I'm going to figure it out today and go, what can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? And so but I will do it in order following my process. I'm just not really preparing for these YouTube videos. So go to GovConinAbox.com. I'm co-founder with several other people, and we're building out these tools for government contractors. Some of them are paid for sure, but we've got a lot of free tools in there, and one tool can help me with this exercise and you with this exercise, and it's our keyword generator. And so if you go to GovConinAbox.com/generate keywords, and so let me just put it here. I mean, I'll put it in the thing, but GovCon in a box, right? GovCon in a box. I don't even know if you can see it. It looks all shiny. I'll put it in the description. But then it's generate keywords is the other one. So I'll just put that in the description. I hate putting things in the description because it's too much work, and I want to keep this to just an hour. But when you go there, it's super cool because you put in what do you sell, and so I'll put in communication outreach. I might use the tool a couple of times. Like I'll go through it, and then I'll come back and go through it again. But I might use LinkedIn engagement or communication outreach, like are my two keywords. And then as it moves forward, the tool is gonna ask you, well, what's the top 3 keywords for what you sell? And so this will be an interesting thing to do. Once you answer that question and hit next, our tool AI generates keywords that are related. And you can select which ones you like, you get rid of the ones you don't, you regenerate more keywords. And in a really short amount of time, certainly within an hour, I can generate 30 keywords. I'll probably do it in 15, 20 minutes, just because I've been doing this for so long, like this thing I want to sell. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna stick with communication and outreach. I don't know if you see that, but so I just put here a circle, and I'm big into mind mapping. Mind mapping is where you put a central theme or thought in the middle, and then you start doing spokes out from there, and you'll see that in a second. And then you can do more spokes out, etc. It's a great way to get your mind just dumping things. If you can't use a big whiteboard, then at least use like an easel with white paper, or very least just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and start mind mapping your thoughts. So if I think about communication and outreach, I'm positive that one of the things I want to do is LinkedIn engagement. So LinkedIn engagement. I need 3 keywords that are going to be out there. So LinkedIn engagement is going to be one. Another one here that I'm just thinking could be helpful is social media content, right? And actually, now that I think about it, I might sit there and get rid of this. And so my first keyword is LinkedIn engagement. My second main keyword will be social media. And my third keyword I'm going to say is content creation. Because one of the challenges I know within the federal government is that they're very good at their job, but they're not that good at understanding how to communicate it back out to industry and out to the social media world or something. So I can help them create content. I don't have to be an expert at FEMA and what FEMA does. I can just be an expert at creating the content I know I'm going to do this way. It's like just interview somebody and I can create content. I'm like, hey, Jane, tell me what you do. And she can tell me all day long what she does because that's what she does, right? But if you tell her to create content, she'll stumble. But if she just tells us what she does content. So I know that these are my 3 main keywords. So I'm going to do, when the question is, what do you sell? I sell communication and outreach. That's what I want my business to be. We communicate the message, we outreach to engage in this particular case, engage the small business community. So that's the outreach portion of it. And communication is sharing information the agency would think important. So then those 3 words that I like is LinkedIn, engagement, content creation, social media. In my head, I'm thinking to myself, when I do this for your agency, we're going to increase the participation of small business government contractors to your agency, so we can do this. I've done this. I've got 36,000 followers on LinkedIn, and those are mostly GovCon people. I got the largest newsletter. So these are things I'm confident about. When you're starting your own company, think about what you're good at. Just figure out one thing. It doesn't matter for 2 years from now. We're just talking about the next year. So my next step today, I'm going to spend the rest of the 40 minutes or whatever time I have, and I'm going to only stick to an hour, so I can already see I'm 16, 17 minutes in. The rest of my time is going to be creating the related keywords, and my plan is to create 10 for each of these 3 next words. When I have those keywords, I can go out and I can search for other information. So, okay, so this is where we're at. Just as a reminder, as if this stuff is valuable to you, do me a favor, put something in the comment that tells me you're not a bot and you actually are tracking on this, and I'll just keep creating it. I'm going to create it anyways, but I like some of the people out there I hear say the love language, right? Mine is engagement. I like knowing that I'm resonating with you. Also, if you have a question, throw it in the chat. I'm struggling with this thing. I'm happy to respond to the engagement that goes in there. It'll help me make sure I'm teaching you and showing you what I'm doing. But just as a recap, my next action item between now and tomorrow is to create 30 keywords that define what I sell, which is communication and outreach. Remember, as you go forward, government contracting, it's not a secret, it's just a process. Part of the process is coming back to my YouTube training every single day. I will see you in the next training.